Ex-prisoners. When was your life in danger behind bars? The biggest man I'd ever seen in my life started crying the moment he saw me walk into the cell block. I was 23 and doing 18 months for credit card fraud when they transferred me to Millbrook Correctional. Big Vaughn, they called him, and he was easily 300 pounds of muscle with tattoos covering both arms. He took one look at my face, and tears just started rolling down his cheeks. Before I could even set my stuff down on my bunk, he was charging at me like a bull. 3 other inmates had to grab him and hold him back while he screamed and reached for me with hands the size of dinner plates. His whole body shook with rage as they dragged him away, but the tears kept coming. I stood there frozen, wondering what I'd done to make this giant want to kill me on sight. My cellmate Royce pulled me aside once Big Vaughn was gone. He explained that I needed to stay away from Vaughn at all costs and never be alone in the same room with him. When I asked what I'd done wrong, Royce just shook his head and said it wasn't about me. He said Vaughn had issues with certain types of people, and I happened to look like one of them. The next morning at breakfast, Big Vaughn sat across the cafeteria staring at me. His eggs went cold on his tray, while tears dripped onto the table. When I got up to dump my tray, he stood up too, but 4 guys immediately surrounded him. They talked to him in low voices, while he kept pointing at me and wiping his eyes. One of them patted his shoulder like they were comforting a child. This pattern continued for weeks. Every time Big Vaughn saw me in the yard, he'd start crying and clenching his fists. During shower time, the other inmates formed a human wall between us. In the TV room, they made sure we sat on opposite sides. I noticed Vaughn only reacted this way to me and 2 other Middle Eastern guys in our block. The rest of the inmates he was actually friendly with. One night I heard him sobbing in his cell down the hall. He was talking to someone about a woman named Camila and how she'd ruined his life, how she'd played him for a fool, and now he was rotting in here while she was probably laughing at him. His voice got louder when he said he'd never trust another person who looked like them again. That's when things started making sense. Royce finally told me the full story a month into my sentence. Big Vaughn had been engaged to Camila, who was white like him, but her parents had arranged for her to marry a Lebanese businessman for financial reasons. Camila couldn't break the arrangement without losing her inheritance, so she manipulated Vaughn instead. She told him the Lebanese guy was abusing her and threatening her family. Vaughn believed every word because he was in love. Camila gave him the guy's address and work schedule. She said she just wanted Vaughn to scare him into leaving town, but when Vaughn confronted the man, things went bad fast. There was a fight, and the Lebanese businessman ended up dead. Vaughn got arrested for taking his life while Camila played the grieving victim. During the trial, the truth came out. Camila had been setting Vaughn up the whole time. She needed the arranged marriage gone, but couldn't have any connection to the crime. Text messages proved she'd been lying about the abuse. She'd even taken out a life insurance policy on her fiancé weeks before his death, but Vaughn still got 25 to life because he'd been the one who threw the punches. Now, every Middle Eastern man who entered the prison became a target for Vaughn's broken heart and rage. He'd beaten 3 guys badly before the other inmates started intervening. They understood his pain, but wouldn't let him take it out on innocent people, so they became his handlers, making sure he never got close enough to hurt anyone who reminded him of Camila's fiancé. The day I understood everything was when Vaughn cornered me in the library. The usual guards weren't there and we were alone. He towered over me with tears streaming down his face and his whole body trembling. She said she loved me, he whispered, said I was protecting her, but she just wanted him dead and me gone. His fist went through the wall next to my head. I should have been terrified, but instead I felt sorry for him. This giant of a man had been destroyed by someone he trusted. He'd thrown his life away for a lie and now couldn't separate his pain from the way people looked. I told him I was sorry about what happened, that Camila was evil for using him like that the man he slaughtered was probably just as much a victim as he was. Vaughn broke down completely then. He slumped against the wall and sobbed like a baby while I just stood there. The other inmates found us like that and gently led him away. After that day, Vaughn still cried when he saw me, but he never tried to hurt me again.